We can go. Hi, welcome to Shootin the Shit with the Bros of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I am your host, Amber Moore. I am also the executive director of Real Boys Talk, which is the sponsor of this particular podcast. We come together, the Bros of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated, to do several things. One, let you know what kind of who we are as masculine presenting women, the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis, but more or less, we're also trying to make sure that we give out good and positive information. So tonight, as you know, we did a podcast before, an episode before that was about Project 2025. This is part 2 of that. And so tonight we're going to talk about making it harder for Americans to make ends meet, which is one of the pieces within that 950 page manifesto. And then we're also going to talk about making education unaffordable and unwelcoming. So we're actually tonight, we are starting a little different because last night was the vice president debates. And so we're going to kind of talk about what we felt, how we kind of, the good, the bad, how we felt about it. And then we're going to pull the 2 topics into what we're talking about tonight. All right, bros. So what did y'all think? And we all know, so we put our disclaimer out. We are not representing as a fraternity. We do not represent a particular candidate. So that's why, but as individuals who are on here, this is a safe space for us to be able to express what the individuals feel. So please understand, I say that in the disclaimer that when we make these kind of comments about a candidate, and if that individual is supporting that candidate, that is not a reflection upon our fraternity in any way. Which hint, we are all supporters of the right to.
We're not speaking on behalf of the fraternity when we talk about politics.
Correct. And so I'm sure that my bros that are not here possibly do have similar concepts, similar agreements to what we are saying, and they have us, those that are on here, we're feeling comfortable and wanting to be able to express and educate others as well. So it's not just an education amongst fraternities, we are educating our community as well. So what did y'all think about last night? Anybody? Don't be afraid.
You know what? He was very calculated in his answers. And when I say he Vance, JD Vance, in a technical way of maybe body language and behavior, he won. Like body language and behavior, he won. He sounded even though what he was saying was disparaging and demeaning, he was saying it in such a way that it sounded articulate. Like, it's so tricky because if Trump had an ounce of what he had last night, things might be different. People might be looking at things different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was the scary part, because I thought he was going to come out here rambling like a hillbilly or something, but he actually sounded very concise, very together.
Kind of presidential?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He sounded like a politician. He was very much so that.
How did y'all feel about him utilizing his family?
Very confident. He said it with his chest.
They both did.
In that aspect, he won. But a debate is not based off of, and I've seen this post I see somebody responded to a post on Facebook saying that JD Vance won, even though, and then she had to go back in her comments to say, I didn't say what he was saying was right, but just the way he conducted himself. And then somebody came on the post and said, it's a shame that debating has come down to how you look and sound and not what you're actually saying.
Okay.
And that was true, because everything he said was lies, BS, all of that. But because of how he was coming off, Walls, he was spitting facts, but he looked a little disheveled, a little, like he didn't know how to, when they called him out on something, he said he was in China for, but really wasn't. It's like it stunned him, and he didn't know how to come back with that.
But I'm gonna say this. I like the way he came back though, guys, because he was honest. He said, I'd be running my mouth. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a situation.
Mm-hmm.
I have literally been at the Berlin Wall when it was up. And if I'm telling you the story, I might say that, that was in 1978. Well, it probably wasn't in 1978. It was probably 1981. You see what I'm saying? I might have got the dates wrong, but me being in that environment, I really was there. I mean, like, I literally have photos of me being 11, being there, when there was a wall. So I think the older group of us, of Americans, understood how he explained it.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think it was used as an excuse for the younger group, that like you gave an excuse of why you messed up, you told a lie. Is
right,
the
exactly.
younger group is seeing.
But because of the way the presidential debate went, that's why, and I agree with you, Kurosh, that's why people are going to view it as him in a winning position, because there wasn't the name calling, the eating dogs and cats and that type of thing, regardless of, like you said, how he said it. Unfortunately, people don't really hear words. It's kind of like they say people, listen to, or women will listen to a rap song that calls her every name in the book, but it's not the words that she's listening to, it's the beat of the music that she's listening to. So therefore, she'll keep playing that song, and it'll keep getting more and more popular, although it's called her every name in the book, that she claims that she's not. And because he was very polished, because he was very confident, those that are Trump supporters are not going to hear. And matter of fact, it's one of the things that I was saying to my wife. I said, if Trump handled himself in that manner with the lies that he tells, that is a scary thing. It would be a different thing, because people don't normally, they hear what they want to hear, in a sentence. It's kind of like when people listen, they only listen to be able to respond to what they want to say. So even though you're talking, they hear what they want to hear, stop right there, and they're like, okay, come on, so I can say what I want to say. So I don't hear everything else that you've said in the interim.
What you got, Max?
So, I'm going to compare JD Vance to a car salesman.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
To a car salesman. You have to think about it like that. So, yes, he was very well put together in this debate. But see, these are a different set of voters. We have to remember that, because yes, he was well polished. He spoke very confidently. Even though some of his facial expressions were kind of creepy when he kept like doing the side eye thing, but neither here nor there. But we actually listened to what was being said. That's the thing. We are actually listening to the policies. We're listening to how they answered about abortion and the economics and things of that nature, right? So we are the ones, the educated voters, and that's on all political sides. The educated voter will listen and hear the actual policies. You have to remember, Donald Trump has been spitting rhetoric since 2016, since before 2016, because you got to remember he campaigned, right? So he's been spitting this rhetoric for years. They hear him. They hear him very, very well, because guess what? If they really didn't hear him like you say they aren't, we wouldn't have that situation in Springfield, Ohio, where the KKK is marching the streets and they're targeting Black folks and Haitians, if they wasn't hearing him. So yeah, they hear him.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely do hear him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They absolutely do hear him. So I can't say that they don't. They believe the theories. They believe the rhetoric. They believe it.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the issue. Okay. But anybody who sat there and actually listened to the debate, Walls won when it came to policies and
Exactly.
status.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I was
Walls
going to get
won.
to that. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say.
But as you
know what
said,
I'm
like
saying?
a car salesman, people end up buying a vehicle that they really don't want till they get home.
They don't even want, like they don't even have an engine in the car, and a car salesman will sell you that car.
Got that right.
That is what JD Vance presented last night. And yes, he has a wife who is a person of color. That does not mean that he's not racist.
True.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Very
I don't
true.
think people
Yes,
understand that.
because he is married to a brown woman and have brown babies does not mean he is not racist.
Right.
That man
he dialed back, guys. He dialed back a lot of his own, what he's been saying out there in the rallies. He did not give you that yesterday.
That's what I was saying.
He did.
But I have an issue. I have an issue when he would not admit that Donald Trump lost the last election. That was a major sour point. Major, because that means that if he loses this time, what happens then? Because it's not just going to happen at the Capitol, it's going to happen in major cities where white supremacists, KKK, the Aryan Brotherhood gonna want to see who dick is bigger and go out in these streets like they doing in Springfield, Ohio, and they're in the broad fucking daylight.
But let's make sure we tell the people to understand. I don't think they coming to Atlanta. I don't think they coming to Detroit, and I don't think they gonna mess around with Jacksonville, Florida.
Pause on Detroit. The suburbs surrounding Detroit. I could walk down my street right now and show you the house decorated. It's decorated with Trump stuff. It's like fake flags, 3, 4. Yes, like those trucks, them pickup trucks that y'all see with the flags and the Trump sign, they be riding through here. My neighborhood. They
went to the hood.
I got my Kamala Harris little sign out there. Like, come on, like.
They went to the hood and got an education. They went to the hood.
He knew that he could not directly go against, because Trump said he didn't lose. So as his running mate, he knew he couldn't set it.
But you lied. But here's that he told a big lie by saying on January 26th or the day of the inauguration, it was a peaceful transfer. No, people need to remember that Biden couldn't get in the White House.
That man said he was not coming
Trump
out.
Fired the butler and all staff in the White House.
Said he was not coming out.
All of the staff and locked the door and was not even there. So, they had to come in, get their own key, do their thing. So we look at it. I mean, so there was a lot of, I will say, like you said, he presented us with an amazing looking car, right? But that car, if you get in it and you try to drive it down the street,
it's a whole limit.
You get out the car, you wondering why your clothes got black soot on it, why your hair stuck on top of your head, why you're sweaty because you ain't got no air. All these things, the car is not what it really looks like. But I can say, I think because I am already a diehard, Harris Walls, supporter, it did not change me. It didn't change me.
Not at all.
But it made me look at those that are on the fence.
Exactly.
Exactly. My Lyft driver today, she made the statement that she wasn't planning on voting until last night because she said he was so slick with what he was saying, it made her nervous. She said, I gotta vote.
You should be nervous, period. With Project 2025 posted all through social media. Like,
but I don't think people, you know what, cool? Honestly, I don't think people believe this shit.
They don't.
Let me tell you, me and Babe, like, you want to see me get pissed and fired up? I be like, okay, so what's our plan, babe? Like, what we gonna do? Because we right here. Canada is right there. Like, what we got?
Right down the road. Exactly.
And she be like,
I'm like, look, I need to start learning Spanish.
Blows it off. I'm like, can we have like a just in case plan, please? Like,
listen,
don't sit here and act like it's not possible, because it's very. I'm like, you think these people been writing this since they were Project 47 or Agenda 47 or whatever it was back in 1990 something.
1947. I think you're right. Since 1947.
Yes. They have been planning this. You don't think they put people in strategic positions throughout the country over these years?
Just so like 9/11, just like 9/11 was strategically put together for certain times.
I will fly my ass to Puerto Rico, because let Donald Trump tell it. They have a whole nother president. So
no, you gotta say about Puerto Rico. You gotta say Haitian. You gotta Haitian.
I'm be like, what can I do? Can I get into Haiti, please?
No, Haitian.
Why are we concerned about Puerto Rico? Dude, Puerto Rico is your responsibility.
There you go. He don't know that. So we might be all right, Max. We might be all right with going to Puerto Rico. But you say that is interesting because, and we're gonna go into the first one, which is making it harder for Americans to make ends meet. You know, we all on here and most of the people that we know in our circles are doing decent, right? we have ups and downs. We got some ups and downs in there, but overall we might be right. You know, the water is right here. We still got a little above the water. And that's something I think a lot of people don't realize, that we are like a head nod from drowning. Okay. So I think that we also have to look at what that means when they say making it harder. How much harder can you make this shit?
Well, they say most Americans are a paycheck away from being homeless. Most Americans.
I don't even think we that. I think we are like, I think we closer than that, guys. I think that at times, you know, I am blessed and I appreciate what my grandmother did, you know, but it's struggles. It's still a struggle. You know what I'm saying? And I know that there are people with kids that are struggling, you know. And so what they're wanting to do is actually get rid of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. What does that mean to us, the USDA? Think about what the USDA covers, guys. That means there's no regulation on our foods. You can bring anything in here. You don't know what the meat is. You don't know what, and think about those people that are on SNAP, that are on, you know, get food stamps, which we all should be getting. God knows we probably all need it. But think about it. They say that 80% of SNAP benefits goes to households that include a child, an elderly person, or a person with disability. 86%. You take that away, what are those people to do? I mean, we really have to think about that. And we can always say, hey, we a village. So if I got next door neighbors that are old, right? The Parks, they're amazing people, but they're elderly, you know? So what if they are on that and now they elderly, they don't get that no more? So as a unit, does that mean that I need to, you know, do I help them? But I ain't got that much. You see what I'm saying? Now we going back to how do we, like, I don't think people realize first of all, I don't think we realize what the departments do.
Right. You know, you're right.
Like you think about it, you go, okay, USDA, you know, they handle the food stamp program. They also regulate increased food, you know, and they also regulate our foods, the different things that come into our country, vitamins, things of that nature. They handle agriculture, which are our farmers. You take that away and farmers cannot do. Does that mean that farmers will not be able to, they can do anything they want to produce, you know,
my thing with that is, why would you take something away where clearly they were put in place for a reason, right? We have all these different agencies put in place because things were brought to the attention of the government that's like, oh, you know, like you said, these people are pumping these animals with steroids and penicillin or whatever, antibiotics. which is potentially making us sick, because you want to beef up the cow, make it bigger, thinking, that's bigger, more meat, this and that. But we're eating that, and that's making us sick.
Exactly. And then what does that do?
I go down this rabbit hole every day with, Dr. Seb, all the food is supposed to heal your body. That's why a salad is $8.99 and you can get fries, a burger, nuggets, and a pop.
Listen, McDonald's got that $5 meal deal, baby. You get the small fry, you get a hamburger, you get some nuggets and a drink.
But they done tested out their fries. They fries live forever. They fries don't ever change. Like, they don't get mold on them. This lady literally took a small fry. She said it was like 10 years ago. She put it in a box, stuffed it somewhere. She showed her daughter. She was like, "This is what you feed my grandchildren." She opened them. She showed them it looked exactly like she just bought the Bad Boys. I was like, oh my. And I'm not knocking McDonald's, because McDonald's fries, hey.
It's tasty, but sure. At what cost though? Like, I'm getting to that point where I can't anymore. Like,
well, you think about the preservatives that are put in foods anyway, which is why they it's pushed about all natural. You know how I am about my nutrition, about natural foods and raw foods. But here in this country, even your raw food, yes, it's a better choice, but you have the pesticides, you have everything else that's added to that. Just like here, a chicken is in a room with a light on for 24 hours, so they'll lay eggs continuously, and that's not the way that cycle is supposed to be. They're not supposed to lay eggs 24 hours. They're not supposed to be in daylight 24 hours to do so. And people wonder why a kid or a 14 is on the offensive line on the varsity team because he looks like he's 20. Or females are, developing now at 14 and 15 and looking 20, 21. And that, again, has to do with what that animal has eaten, you have eaten.
It's 10 and 11, baby. It's 10 and 11.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so our food, even trying to eat those foods that are self-healing and are better for you, again, your raw foods, it'll keep your weight off and things like that. But still here, unless you're growing it yourself, just like there are no regulations on organic. You go in the store and it says, okay, this is the organic section, but there's nothing that they have to meet to make that organic. There's nothing that certifies organic food if you research that. You know what I mean? I can take avocado and have one bigger than the other and say, okay, this is the organic one that I grew in the backyard. This one is not. How do I know so? Where is it that I have to meet that?
Do y'all think that because I want us to also give out opportunities to not just say this could happen, even if it didn't happen, right? Let's think about this. Even if it didn't happen, this doesn't come into play. It gets, they don't make it, and we get, a positive crew in there. I think, or do you? I'm gonna say it like this: do you all feel like there's still some things we should be doing?
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
This system and this program needs to be improved tremendously. You can't sit up here and tell me that a single mother of two who's making $14.50 an hour only gets $250, $300 a month in food stamps. I'm sorry. I am sorry. That is totally unacceptable. The fact that a large percentage of my paycheck goes to groceries.
And you still have to figure out childcare.
So this is a full moment of transparency.
So like, you have to think about that stuff. When we had Messiah, how much money we was just spending in childcare. Childcare alone was bananas. And thank God Florida has a VPK, which is voluntary pre-K. In Florida, you don't have to send your child to pre-K, but it's voluntary and it's 100% free. The best thing that we ever did was incorporate him in that, because he was able to be around kids. He got free education. you know, with his ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and his shapes and stuff. But like education alone should be free. Teachers should not have to beg for school supplies. Teachers should not have to go on strike just to get some money to have a livable wage. A livable wage. People who shape our futures can't even have a livable wage. Something is completely wrong here. The whole system needs to be broken down and rebuilt. Those in the middle class, everybody in the middle class should have an opportunity to obtain food stamps. That includes families and single persons. There should be some type of subsidized funds for individuals who are, whether it's $50 a month, $100 a month, $500, whatever that looks like. Everybody in the middle class is the new poor.
Do you think that
we don't have a middle class anymore?
Do you think that if we were to increase our income, wages, like not being $7.50, whatever, make it $20, $15, do you think that would help?
The more money we have, the more we spend, the more the economy booms. I don't understand why people don't get that. The more money I have in my pocket, the more I'm going to spend.
Yeah, the more you put back into the economy, of course.
I'm going to put it back into the economy. I'm going to make your business grow. And for us to be taxed at 22 to 35% just in taxes on our paychecks, and the people who make billions of dollars are only getting taxed 1.5, make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me. Why I can't get taxed at 1.5 and they get taxed 23%, because they're not gonna feel it. They're not gonna feel it. And here's the thing:
they're not buying they shit. We buying they shit. So and I always say this, and I want y'all to give me your thoughts on it. If I ain't making no money, where am I shopping? How is you gonna maintain your richness if I ain't shopping? Especially, and I'm gonna say this because Black folks, we is the shoppers of the shop. We do our thing. We keep. If we would have stopped for one day and not shop, hey, y'all already know what happened to the.
If nothing else taught the government to give us money, them goddamn stimulus checks. Think about it. When we got them stimulus checks, that was them couple of months that them stimulus checks came out was when the economy boomed. Think about that. The economy boomed. Why? Because we cashed them checks, and what did we do? We went and bought Chanel. We went and bought Gucci. We went to the crab hunt and got us some crab leg. Like, we spent that whole $1,200. All of it. We spent it.
What you got, Cole?
And guess what happened? The economy boomed, and it kind of like went, oh, snap.
It did. I mean, and that's true. What you got, boy? Cool.
So full transparency, me working in the auto industry up here. Well, last year about October, that's when they had the Big 3 strike. My plant was the very first plant to walk out. I am not a union member. I'm salary. So they calling me like, get out the building. They about to walk out. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, but I'm cool. Like, so no worries over here. You know what I'm saying? So I sat there. They walked off the job right in the middle of it. Boom. Everything stopped. They walked out. And I just was like, wow, they really did it. Now, me thinking like, okay, I knew it was coming. They had been talking about it. I'm like, oh, y'all probably going to be out a week or two. They were out 6 weeks. Okay. Wow. I didn't prepare, wasn't prepared. Somebody was like, well, apply for food stamps. I'm like, okay. I mean, but I'm going back to work. I make too much. I know they're like, just do it. I'm like, okay, but you're not working now. Called or applied, got, I think like $283. Now I told y'all I'm going back to work, but I get $283 now. Fast forward to this year, I'm officially laid off. No contracts lined up. Things they pulling back my company or whatever. First one to go. So now I'm like, hey, I'm really not working now, and now I'm getting unemployment. You know, they gave me $85 because I'm getting unemployment. That's only $324 a week. So, and I'm like, so wait, why did you ask me what my mortgage was, what my expenses were, and I'm only getting $324 a week and $85, and my mortgage is already here, and my car note. Oh well, we have a formula, and because of the you're getting the full amount for the unemployment. You subtract this and add that and do this, and that's how we got the $85. I said, but when I didn't have a return, when I had a return to work date, y'all gave me way more money last year. That's because you weren't getting unemployment. So I'm like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Because I mean, $85, by the time I bought some eggs, bread, milk,
that was it.
A box of cereal, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, you can put that back. Oh, dang, put that back. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
or you gotta buy cheap, or you gotta buy processed food for the dollar.
$83
They
for the
make you
month.
jump through all these hoops to get this. Not even, I can't make this end meet this end for shit. Like I'm over here, like, you know what I'm saying? So the whole process has to be. I feel like it has to be, like you said, it has to be revamped. It has to be broken all the way down. I get that they don't want people to stay on this because, believe me, I know people that are professional welfarers. That's what I call them. Like they know all the tricks of the trade to be able to stay and extend and do this and do this appeal.
$500, $600, $700 in food stamps. Selling
right, them. And they getting all the money and they selling it and all that. I've witnessed that. But there's really people out here that's that's in my situation where I'm like, I'm not trying to wait for them to get a contract because I know, and now the docs are striking. So now I'm like, oh, well, if it ain't no import export going on, like that's going to trickle down.
That is union as well. So unions have to take care of the docs. Now the West Coast has made their
they made theirs last year. Their
agreements. They're back to work. The East Coast has been given a date. I cannot remember what it was, but they have been given a date. They have to go back to work. Now they, their head guy is friends with, Trump man. And so the
union head is friends with Trump.
No, the guy one of the shoremen, the head guy that keeps talking, the shoreman guy. I don't think he's part of the union though. I mean, he's part of the union. He's not the union.
No, I think he is. I think he is.
That's odd.
Because he keeps asking for more money. And here's the catch. They pulled up, I saw a thing yesterday, they pulled up his salary. Dude makes $170,000 a year. Well, how much more money you asking for, sir? And they said, shoremen make nice money. Like they do $20,000 a year. They make nice money now.
But that's just going into, they saw UPS get their money. They saw the big three get their money, and it was another another something entity that went on strike, and they got their money.
So they are talking about like it's going to be like car dealerships are going to go out. We're not going to get food, things of that nature. The things that are that are distributed or that come into the ports on the East Coast are not going to be able to come in. But what people need to also understand is that there is that won't affect you like next week.
Right, it's going to trickle down. Like the longer it is,
yes, then the shortage becomes. But the other thing is that the pricing. He was trying to say that they're going to the pricing will go up like next week on eggs, on bananas, on the different stuff. I don't think it's that quickly.
But if people go out there and buy up everything, then yes, it will happen that quickly.
Now, somebody did say that if we get in a
you gotta just sit and chill and let this play out. But if you don't run in there and try to,
I just got some information. So the president of this union, his name is Harold Daggett. I'm assuming that's the guy who's been talking. I'm gonna verify that. But ILA, though that's the union, ILA members make a base salary of about $81,000 per year, but some can pull in over $200,000 annually with large amounts of overtime because they do work a lot of overtime.
That's the same thing with the auto workers. They pull in about 60 to 80, I think.
But how much more money do y'all
they can
want,
get 6
though?
figures.
I'm not knocking. I ain't knocking, 80,000. But I'm just saying, how much more you want? I mean, you saying you're not getting enough money.
But
in
comparison to what the company is making, though, is still disproportionate. That's what they're saying.
You have to remember, shoremen, that is a skilled trade. Like if those men and women go on strike, you just can't pull people off the street.
Exactly.
It takes months of training to do that job.
To do
so
those
what
cranes,
they're asking for is not just money, because when my head guy is bringing in $100 billion and he doesn't have to lift a finger, but I'm out here rain, sleet, snow. When COVID hit, they still had to be out there. You have to understand that. So yes, it's not just about the money, but they also don't want automation. I want to be able to work and not have robots do my job.
In addition to that, depending on where they live,
on some of the ports, there's no people there. It is ran by machines.
And then depending on where they live,
a team of 10
I never thought about. I did not think about it like that at all.
Well, and then in addition to that 80,000 or 6 figures, if you're on the coast, depending on where you are,
that ain't shit.
That 100,000,
that ain't shit. That's when you living in New York, $81,000. That ain't
nothing.
shit.
That's like 30, 40,000.
Yeah, that's like 30, 40,000 here in Georgia.
Because they talked about $100,000 in California now is you still are barely able to function on $100,000 because of how high
California.
Yeah, how high things are in Cali.
Interesting.
And that's some of the things that are driving up the economy. When you talk about here in Texas, you got someone that sells a home for $800,000-900,000, which was a 1,200 square foot home, where they come here with that same $800,000, and you've got 5,000 square feet plus 10 acres. You know what I mean? So those of us that are here that are not making the money that they made on the coast is driving our prices up here, and we're not making that type of money, in this state. Some of us, but 6 figures here in Texas, yes, it'll take you a very, very long way, but not depending on you in New York or Cali or places like that. Absolutely not.
I get it. So I'm gonna bring us back to something that Max did. Max gave us an experience with her grandson about him going to Head Start or going to pre-K.
Yep.
Part of this, removing the U.S. Department of Agriculture also removes Head Start. It eliminates that program, Max. It eliminates it altogether. And I want you, if you don't mind, sharing with us, if your grandson didn't have that program, and you didn't have the ability to, you have the ability to teach him, of course, but let's just say you didn't. What does that do to our kids? And I'm very much clear about Black kids. That's what I'm talking about. If we remove Head Start, if they remove Head Start, what will that do for our children?
You have to remember that the average household is probably going to work, let's say a 2-parent household. Out of those 2 parents, you will probably have a minimum of 3 jobs between those 2.
I agree.
Right? So Papa works 2 jobs, Mama work 1 full-time job, and this is just to make ends meet, because this is the average middle class right now, okay? And we're only talking about 2-parent households right now for the sake of this discussion.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So dad works 2 jobs, mom works 1, full-time for mom, full-time for dad, and a part-time overnight probably, okay? The kids may not go to school, depending on the age. Some may go to school. Where are you going to find the time to teach your children school stuff? When? Because you can't. You don't have the time because I have to go out and work to provide lights and shelter, right? So when it came to Messiah, even when school did not start, the school that we ended up sending him to has a summer program, and we was able to get him in summer camp, and that cost money, a lot of money, and you got to provide your own lunches and snacks and stuff like that.
Really?
And you got to provide
yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you got to provide like certain things for the class, like every day is like a different snack. So as a parent, you sign up for whatever snack you're going to bring for the week or the day or whatever, right? So it's money involved. And then when he became of school age, pre-K age, which was 4, he was 4. From 8 a.m. to 12, and this is in Florida. I don't know about any other state. I'm talking about Florida. From 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. was VPK. That was his class. That was his stuff. Anytime before, from 7 to 8, and from 12 to 6, that's care. That's child care. And you got to pay for that. Add on about $180 a week, $200 a week, just to send your child to childcare. And again, you have to provide the meals and the snacks. Yes. So during that month, I'm gonna say we probably averaged spending on childcare, his food to take to school, the snacks to take to school. I'm gonna give a rough average that we spent maybe about $1,200, $1,500 a month. And that's just on childcare and school stuff. I ain't even put in the shoes and the pants and the shirts that we had to buy. I'm not putting in the food that we had to have here for him to eat when he got out of school and childcare and all that kind of, like, the average American cannot afford to live and have kids on top of that. The kids that you claim are so precious that you don't want nobody to abort, but never mind. That's a whole nother conversation.
But I'm gonna tell you something. But I'm gonna tell you this. JD Vance has a solution for you, Max. He can save you all that money. You know what he said? He said
the grandparents need to step up and take care of their grandkids.
And you were doing that.
And churches and have a choice of where.
This was the grandparent that was taking care of their grandson, but also had to work a full-time job to take care of myself.
That's the thing. I don't think I think, like, I don't know who these grandparents, who are these grandparents, y'all? Who these grandparents?
On top of that, why should a grandparent?
Let's be real. My mother and my father are retired. Both of them have retired now. My father retired this year. Whew. So, but they are out living their best life. I can't keep up. I am parenting my parents, and then you want me to grandparent if I have grandchildren. No.
And why?
I got two adults running around in America all over the place. I don't know. I don't know what half of they are at a time. My father had a surgery. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm like, why is you having surgery? What is you having surgery on? Oh, I had to have surgery on my eyes. What? Then my mama told me, well, I think me and my girlfriends, we gonna go. So, where's you going, man? My mother went to the Democratic convention in Chicago. Y'all know I was nervous. Because I'm like, okay, she's a little old lady.
Your mama just,
but that's the thing is that, where do you Where do grandparents at?
But why should grandparents have to turn around and raise grandchildren? Why can't they just be grandparents?
Because the concept, here's the deal, Elite.
And that
the concept is that is family. That we don't have a family structure. This man, these men, because it ain't him by himself, these men who wrote this, because I and the women just following along with him like dodo heads.
Of course.
They wrote this because that they don't want to be bothered. How many men it is a lot of men who love their children and are home parenting. You know, they're at home while the wife is out there. But on this group of men, that's not, they want that tradition. They looking for Leave It to Beaver again. Leave It to Beaver is not existing anymore. We don't have those kind of families anymore. A lot of us are our children's family. You know, we aunties to Messiah. You feel me? You know, we aunties to everybody's niece and nephews that y'all got, that I got. Mm-hmm. That's how this works now. But they believe that if I take away your opportunity to have free Head Start or any kind of funding of a Head Start, first of all, your children won't learn. Messiah would not have walked into kindergarten being as advanced as he was, because he was on second grade. When he went into kindergarten, he basically could kind of roll with the second graders a little bit. He was learning to read then.
And same thing here in Texas. You know, we experienced the same thing that Max is talking about. You know, had to pay if once from 8 to 12. From 12 to 2 was an added payment for that child to stay in school. You know, which you know we had to do. Then childcare after that, because you're still not off for work. You know, at 2 o'clock, and you had that lunch had to be fixed every day. You know what I mean? Same thing.
That's interesting to me that not only I'm paying you $180 a week for you to look at my grandkid. That's what you're looking at him. But I got to give you the food. You can't give him snacks and feed him a meal.
And this is pre-K. And again, reading on that second grade level by the time, you know, kindergarten and that type of thing. So it's the same way here in Texas, you know. But then get back to the grandparents. Most grandparents, like you said, are retired or on fixed income, you know, and not working. How do you expect them to take on that responsibility? Every grandparent's not a Max, you know what I mean?
I want to piggyback on you, Elite. I want to piggyback on you because if we follow Project 2025, there won't be any grandparents alive to take care of these babies anyway. Because y'all trying to get rid of Medicare and Medicaid.
Talk about
it. Talk about it. That anyway. So guess what? The old people, us old people, we won't even be around because we don't have the money to go to the doctor, to get our cancer seen about, to get our MS seen about, to get our high blood pressure seen about, because you took away my benefits. I can't get prescription drugs because you done made insulin.
But guess what? You're going to have more time on your hands too, because you can't work overtime. Overtime ain't going to be overtime no more either.
Yeah,
so,
you getting rid of
you're going to be working all that crazy hours for nothing.
That's how they said the week going to work. Let's just say I'm working. I work 40 hours a week. That, you know, that's the norm, right? But this week I did 50. So next week I don't do 40. I do 30. I do not, because you don't want to pay, huh?
They already do that
here. Run me my time and a half.
They already do that. I had to fight tooth and nail because I'm like, that's not what was said. You said overtime after 40 hours.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Overtime after 40 hours. So if last week I worked 52, I have 12 hours to overtime. They will try to, because we on a 2 week.
I'm going to give you a day off for that 12 hours. I'm going to give you a day off next week. I had to work over the 80 hours. But I'm going to give you.
I'm like, that's not what that says.
And not
if I work 40, if I work 52 hours and I work 20 hours this week, I still have 12 hours of. They'll roll those 12 hours into my next week, and Absolutely. I still won't make the 80. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying?
Or I'm going to give you.
I used to have to fight them all the time. Like, that's not how that is.
Or I'm going to give you a day off next week. I'm going to give you that 12 hours off. You know,
great man. I had to always fight them over that.
Let me throw another monkey wrench in there. Not only do we have to deal with if they do what they're saying they're going to do, if they got that opportunity, if it happened that they got the opportunity, we just told everybody, ain't no Head Start. You really are gonna have to talk to your mom and dad about taking care of your children.
They won't be alive.
Ain't no daycare. Then they can't be alive because guess what? They squashing Social Security. Do y'all understand? And I'm pretty sure that all of us on this phone, our parents are on Social Security. Both my parents are on. Even though my father got a pension, my mama got a pension, they still on Social Security. And that means that if they not on Social Security, that means we all living in this house right here together. In this 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, I'm gonna have to put my parents in here because guess what? They can't survive. They can't take care of what they need to take care of and live the life they need to live. So when you take that away,
a complete mess. That would be a complete mess to have both of them in their house at the same time. Jesus, I would pray for you because
they're gonna talk me to death. But here's the thing: the worst of it, even though that's bad, let's even put it worse. The men and women who serve our country, who are veterans, will get no more disability benefits. You have been, and we have a veteran on the phone with us. I mean, on our call on the podcast with us. Tell us what effect that will have on.
You already are fighting to get disability currently. Period. And it takes years. You can have a file as thick as mine and many others that I know, and they're like, well, no. Here's your $100 a month. Here's your $200 a month, whether you're 100% disabled or not. And you're fighting and you're fighting and you're fighting. One thing that Obama did was made it where you could go and see your doctor, and you wouldn't have to wait for the VA, right? That all goes away. So you're back to waiting a year. There are veterans that have passed away waiting just to go to the doctor. You know what I mean? Veterans, you have those that are out there on the street that know they're not actually veterans, but you have many that are out on the street and people are saying, well, they're a veteran. Why are they on the street? All the benefits that they get? No, it doesn't work like that.
I was one of those people. Like, I've seen both sides. I've seen the people that just sit in the corner act crazy. And then I see people that's veterans that use all the GI Bill and all that stuff and make it 6 figures. So it's like, I don't know if it's right. It's like where's the disconnect in that system? But if it's anything like trying to collect welfare or whatever or get assistance, like the only thing, like everything I've been doing since I've been laid off is some kind of, you gotta come back and forth. You gotta jump. You told me to do A and B. I go do A and B. I come back. Now you're telling me I got to do C and D. Why you just didn't tell me that? Because I could have had all that. Okay, well, C and D. All right, C and D. Hey, I got this. Okay. Oh, well, now it's... And I'm like, I told the lady last time I was in her office, I was like, look, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I said it just like that. Like, I don't want to do this anymore because everything you're telling me, you brought me in like, oh, okay, they're going to give you $5,000 for you to get a certification. Okay, cool. I come back, I'm ready to show me what the programs are. Oh, you have to find a program. You didn't say that when I was here. Okay, find program. I'm all on, reading stuff, blah, 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 blah. But I need to, go with what I already got with my work experience, blah, blah, blah. Go in there, like, here's the programs. Did you get them off this website? You didn't tell me. So then the thing is, okay, I'm like, all right.
Trying to blow up different federal buildings, causing shit like this.
Well, and it's the same way when you talk about disability for veterans.
And my girl tells me all the time, it's designed like that.
It is. It's the same way with disability.
Because you're frustrated, and now you're not gonna take advantage. And I'm like, well, that's not. You can't tell me, lure me in, come, we'll give you this. I get all this paperwork. You need to know all these things about me. You need to do this. I need to show you all my paperwork. And then now you give me the runaround on how this program works. I'm like, either you can hire me so I could look up all these programs so I could put a database together for you guys, for the people that's coming in after me to help them just come in and get this process and hit the floor running, or leave me the fuck alone. Cause that's where I was at with it. Cause I'm like, this is not organized. I know you're saying I'm only like your third person, but you can't tell people all of these things like you can get money for school, but you're not telling them, oh, we don't even know what school's gonna accept it. We don't even know this part. We don't know this part. And I'm like, all right. So then she's pointing me in the direction of another, because my whole thing is I'm not paying for this. Like I'm not paying, I'm not going back into debt with school loans to go back. I'm not. Like that's not an option for me. If not, I'll just go back and start all over, go back in the plant and work my way back up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. So she pointed me in the direction of another government program. Talk to them. They can't see me till October 22nd. That's a whole month. So what? We're all supposed to, like, I'm already fighting unemployment to renew my unemployment. Now, I was just like,
and same way with veterans. You go to, this is not the doctor you need to go to. You need to go to this doctor. Okay, bring that paperwork back. Okay, did you do this? Okay, and then months down the road where you still have no income, coming in.
A lot of this is based on me being unemployed too. It's not like I could go get a job and still do this. It's based on me being unemployed, and that's the part that's fucking with me now, because I'm like,
you can't survive months and months unemployed waiting on them to give you something, because by the time you get it, it don't even equal up to what you need to give to make you get you back out the water.
I had stuff already put up. It's dwindling now, and I'm like, okay,
like they say, you should
have, like, hold on, like
you should have 6 months of savings to equal, your expenses. Who actually, I did during COVID and haven't been able to recover since.
It's like having 3 times the amount for the apartment thing. I need folks to stop doing that, because these folks ain't got that. Look, man, you got your deposit in your first month's rent. You can get on up in here.
If you got the deposit, most times you got the rent, but the lease, but you're trying to get the deposit together.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. We have to do better by our servicemen and our veterans, because we forget that they give the ultimate sacrifice.
Hell yeah.
Even if they don't see battle, even if they don't get hurt, whatever they like, those men and women who are in our armed forces, in our military, they give the ultimate sacrifice, and not just with their lives, like they give up time with their families and their friends, life, their like all of that stuff. We have to do so much better in that department. We have to do better with our teachers.
Oh my God.
They are the ones who shape the future, whether we like it or not. There was a teacher who taught Donald Trump. There was a teacher who taught Tim Walz. There was a teacher who taught the Kamala Harris and Barack Obama's. We have to do better by our teachers. We have to do better by our industry people.
But you know what, Max? Veterans were called weak. That was the opinion. That you're a loser.
We have to do better by the people who run this country, that can do things that the average human being cannot do or is not trained to do. We have to do better with our first responders.
Yes. Tell me about it. But here's the catch. With Project 2025, Max, they're going to be replaced. You're now military that have been trained, that have gone through all of that they've gone through and risked their life. They're saying, nope. And we're going to pull in, and the police officers, and I ain't saying, we all know all police officers are not heinous like we have been seeing them. There are a lot that are, but all of them are not. And the key is there are some that are doing their job and doing a little bit beyond, and they are also risking their lives.
Not a little bit.
But those guys are all going to be out, because if Project 2025 gets in, it becomes the militia that becomes your police, that go up and down your street like they did in the Holocaust. But ain't nobody listening. That's the catch, Max. I don't know, and I'm gonna say this. I know I was not here when the Holocaust was happening, but I know it happened. I know it affected a whole group of people. But for some reason, people think that shit like slavery. Y'all think that shit like, oh, that was a million years ago. Dude,
if they even acknowledge that slavery exists.
I am only the fifth.
Right. They want to take all that away too.
They want to say slavery did not exist. It was indentured servants that was singing and happy. There was no slavery.
Let me tell you something.
We volunteered.
The people in South Georgia that are my family, we are only the fifth. I am only the fifth generation of free. You know how that's not far, people. That's not long ago. That ain't no 100. This is not when Cleopatra was walking on the earth. Right. This shit happened 3, 5. Some people it was 5, 4 generations ago. Y'all have to understand that
there's people that still have Negro on their birth certificate.
Colored,
Negro, colored, all of that.
Yes.
So you have people in South Georgia that know what we've gone through. And you cannot sit here and tell people this doesn't exist. It never happened. But you're walking down, and what all of us on this phone have heard it been said. If you do not know where you come from, you will repeat that history over and over again. So if we don't, and we're finding out more and more about who we are as Black people, not African American, all that, just Black people. We're finding out there's some history we ain't even know nothing about. There's some stuff that we're learning now. And I feel like we're at a point where you got to believe these people will try to wash away everything that's great about us.
They've already done it.
All these people, they'll wash away the work that all these veterans and active military are doing right now, because they're wanting to take the militia, their people, and put them out there as the police so they can walk up and down 2nd Avenue right here in front of my house. And then if they don't like something that I do, they can walk in my house and say, you don't own this house no more, Amber, get out.
Has anybody seen
many countries that I have been to, that's exactly the way it's run.
Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale.
So look, this is my whole thing.
I done told y'all.
I told my goddaughters, 21, 20, 22, and 20. I told them, I'm like, okay, I know y'all not into this whole political stuff. I get it. Y'all 20. I ain't gonna lie. I just who I gotta vote for. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But let me tell you what the closest thing I can tell you Project 2025 will be. I'm like, watch Handmaid's Tale. Just watch it. When you chilling, you wanted something to binge, watch that.
Because it's the truth.
And it's something that can happen.
I will not put on a dress. I will not be a little white girl.
I don't think we're gonna qualify for that.
No, because here's the catch. Now
you gonna play dress up.
Because in Handmaid's Tale, lesbians don't give a damn.
You gonna play dress up.
If you are not in menopausal state.
That's what I was gonna say.
In menopausal state.
We ain't going there. We're going to
you will become somebody's. You're gonna become. You're gonna be over there with the.
We're gonna be in the wastelands, dog. They ain't even go unless you know how to cook. You could be a chef to cook for them or something.
I refuse. And as cute as I know children are, because I work with them every day.
Cupid. No, I can tell you where you get your lashes from.
I will not be a little white girl's nanny. That is a no for me, and I'm not gonna wear no motherfucking red dress. Y'all kill it.
You gotta have your lashes. I've learned how to get.
I'm not doing it. I don't and I come from a very feminine lady. I know how to be a girly girl. I'm not doing it. So I'm
your lashes like this. They'll work behind your glasses. They won't.
Look Max heard me say this at Labor Day weekend, at the LGBT Greek weekend. Look, if you like your masculine you like your studsmen. You like them to be as masculine as they are, you better get out there and damn vote.
Right.
That's really what this comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. If you like your husband and you and this guy been together for 10 years or whatever, please understand, you and your husband, 2 of you guys gay, and y'all been gay, y'all known each other, y'all invested in homes and y'all got shit, you go vote if you want to keep it. Because y'all fuck around and think that this club is all there is, and running in the streets and doing all this, and I'm a stud and I'm all this and all that. Baby, It won't be that way. By choice, you have now to choose if you would like to have children as a masculine presenting. They get in, it will not be a choice.
And Cool Rush, you're talking about 20 and 21. They need to understand too. They may not think that they're on this political agenda, but they got to think in 4 years, you're going to be 25, 26. You're running this.
I know.
You're the next generation running the country.
You can't tell them nothing now, though. That's the whole thing. Like, I bring it up and I put perspective, but it's not like I'm not going to beat it in their head. I do bring up little things. You know what I'm saying?
This generation, a lot of them don't believe it's real until they see it. And we don't want to have to see it.
Right. But it's just not their generation. I told you, even my girl, like, it's not going to happen. There's too many things in place for that not to happen. I'm like,
they didn't think Trump was going
to be president. They are very confident in this. I was like, why do you think it's not going to happen? It's 900 and something pages lining up what they want to do. They are telling us.
First of all, nobody ever thought in a million years that Roe versus Wade would ever
be overturned.
That's what the fuck happened.
Right. That's right.
It did. Been on the books for decades.
That's right.
Even in 2024 with that case with Marcellus Williams, that man should not have been executed.
That's right.
Based off the flimsy ass case they had. And in nowhere did that governor take a moment to.
You got student shooters who ain't got that. You feel where I'm going? And we got
exactly people that
got do it.
Yep.
So we
I'm like, you had somebody on the hook, and you just was not. I'm like, I seen it late. Actually, I didn't hear about the story till literally the day before.
Yeah, same here.
And I signed the petition. I shared what I could, and I was, looking up, and then I seen the post like they went through it. They did it. I'm like, what? I said, people with flimsier cases got thrown out. You know what I'm saying? Stronger DNA and all that, but still got cases thrown out because of some minute little dumb comma might have been somewhere that made it. You know what I'm saying? It's disheartening.
It is. Let's go to the education piece because we did touch on it with our youth, our young kids. But guess what? College does the same thing. They're going to, because they don't want us. And I say us, and I'm saying brown and black people, they don't want us to be able to have that education. If you take away the Department of Education, that also makes your HBCUs have to struggle because now they have to rely on their alumni, which they should be anyway.
Which alumni are not prevalent
to a certain degree.
By experiences of my own. Did not attend the HBCU, but I'm involved in the HBCUs, and the alumni are not there.
No, not like you go to Florida State where I went to school. That alumni ain't no joke. They throwing money.
Your PWI
like that. Out there, baby. They putting the money out there. They don't care. The 2,000,
your PWI
don't care.
is like that. University of Houston is its own city because of the alumni.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say it. And somebody, if you can find a way to correct me, please do. Oprah Winfrey went to a whole nother country to build a school for girls. You couldn't build no motherfucking school here. I'm just gonna say it. The only person I can give credit to is LeBron's, because he went back to his hometown. He built the school. I think he might have two. Don't quote me.
Jalen Rose did the same thing.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Jalen Rose has a school here in Detroit.
This is small. Two people, might be more. If you are listening to us, if you are listening to us and you know of more, please comment. Let us know. Because
some rappers that got housing developments and stuff. So yeah.
So, but that's the thing is that if they do what they want to do with education, loans, as much as we all paying for them loans, them student loans, folks. I know it struggles because you got to defer. You got to say, I ain't got the money. Don't bother me, whatever. And it's on your credit and all of that. But at the end of the day, all of us needed that financial aid to go to school. A lot of us do. You got to think about it. A lot of kids would not be able to go to any school if they did not have financial aid. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like this is so simple, right? Because you have all these countries.
Here go our Libra.
With free education, free healthcare. Why can't we just take some pages from their playbook, on how they was able to establish this free education.
They are not greedy.
Because we are too busy as a country going over there telling them to be like us and sending us over there to enforce it.
My thing is that America's supposed to be the biggest, baddest country, but you having your people pay for everything. When we got these countries over here and they people don't have to pay for
nothing. And I've been,
and they get free nap time.
Been to numerous.
Look, I'm gonna say it like this. America's like a gold digger. That bitch be in our pocket like there is no tomorrow. My wallet be so thin, I might as well be dating America.
That part.
My girlfriend is America.
But you know, to
she is wearing me out. And I'm getting, and guess what? I ain't getting nothing for her. I'm not getting nothing for her gold digging in my ass. Nothing.
But to piggyback on Max, like you're talking about, you know, the countries that I've been to, we're too busy going over there wanting to put together our model of how they should be. You know, this is what
that's
you need
what
to
America's.
do.
That's
you're gonna
that's
be
how
like
America
America.
was built, ain't it?
You know, and then we report back, okay, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing, and we're going to change that. But their system is working. You know, so
yeah, what is it? Is it New Zealand that ain't got no crime? That lady, somebody got at the time, I believe it was a female president, and somebody, a citizen, got robbed somebody. Do you know she took away? First of all, there were no guns. Individuals, like people, if you are not the police or military, you do not have a gun at all, because you don't need it. Because they got zero crime, zero. I don't know what they do. I don't know. But this one person apparently did something, robbed, whatever. Man, she took the gun off the market. She switched up everything else. She was like, "Oh no, we're not having that here. No, we're not." And that was it. So they had no crime since. Like, there are some places where they have peace, where they can get shit done. They got a decent economy. You know, people make decent money, like Max said, and they get to have a nap.
You got places where police don't have to have weapons. You know, I'm in France.
Right.
You know, it's one of my favorite places
a whistle
to go.
and a baton.
And many, you know, there are certain agencies they don't carry weapons.
But here, and I'm not knocking, and the gun control thing, I agree with what Coach said. I call him Coach Walls. Is that it's not the people. It's not the people and all of that. It is the guns. And what we have to do is we do have to put some things. You know, if you're a hunter, get the hunter guns. What you need with an AK-47? You can't even eat that meat if you shoot that deer, baby. It's different. Go get you the game.
So, as a gun enthusiast,
I am too.
Talk to.
Yes, I've had the AR-15s, the shotguns, and
I got them right
the multiple array of handguns. I am pro 2A. Like, you can't tell me don't take my gun. Don't
tell me that. But I want to know what did you?
Right there with you,
you did it, but did you do it because did you buy that type of gun?
I did mine for sport. I was involved in competitive shooting. I was involved in competitive shooting and marksmanship.
Mine had to do with my job.
I was a part of a gun club. I'm a part of the National African American Gun Association, and that's what they do. They train you. We are survivalists. So those type of things that we learn, and it taught me discipline. It taught me way more about gun safety than I was taught in a regular gun range or whatever. And we was around like-minded individuals. So no, I never had the opportunity. I would never carry around an AR-15 just because I know I can. That's not the place for it. I'm not going to take it to a school. I'm not going to take it to the grocery store. I'm not going to take it to the park. I used it for entertainment and I used it for sport. Now, knowing that I'm pro 2A, knowing that I'm a gun enthusiast, knowing that I'm a survivalist, right? When my grandson came to stay with us for a year, every single gun that I had outside of my everyday carry was sold. I got rid of every single one of them because I am not a fucking nutcase. My grandson means more to me than any fucking gun, any fucking bullet, and any fucking shooting competition that I will ever be in. And the simple fact that people cannot see it, and this also ties into the education piece too. Okay. I want y'all to know that. I don't understand, as someone who, again, I am pro 2A. I want you to carry. I want you to be safe, the right people. I want you to go through what you're supposed to go through to get your gun legally, right? I am all for that. But Mac 10s, what the fuck are you going to do with a Mac 10? What are you going to do with a chopper? Like, though, that shit is not hunting. Like, you're not doing it for sport. You're doing it to kill people. You are doing it for a statement. I have never, ever had to walk around with any shotgun or rifle. I have always had my everyday carry. It was always locked and loaded and concealed. So when shit popped off, bam, I'm right there. But again, my grandson came, and he is more important than any gun. Any gun.
I want to
do you feel there needs to be laws though? Do you feel like
I want to piggyback on that, bro? You know, and I being pro weapon, of course, mine had to do with my profession, you know, being police and being detention and things like that. And I agree with you, although I do have what we call long guns, you know, do have and carry a handgun, which is, you know, required, of course, with my profession. Prior to things happening in this country, I didn't have, you know, anything but my carry. Now I do have others. And I agree with you. There, even as a police officer or detention, there is no reason, you know, for me to carry around a saw that I carried overseas. There's no reason.
Let's take one deeper. No. Let's take one deeper. Parents, what makes you think this shit is okay to give your 17, 18-year-old son, 19-year-old son an AK-47 or AR-15?
Right.
What would possess you to think that is okay? Because it looks good, because it's cool?
No, because there in so many ways you're saying to your child, this is how you solve a problem, sir.
Exactly.
This is how you solve a problem.
I don't.
If that girl said no to you and she went off and she said no to you, and I'm gonna tell you, you got to look at something. These are awkward people, awkward parents, and they don't know exactly how to handle. They don't know how to resolve their own conflicts. Okay, so they were frustrated, you know, and that young man comes home and he's upset that such and such Becky is with such and such. She didn't want to talk to me. Now you have told your child by giving them that weaponry, this is how you can solve that problem. And she'll think you're cool.
Now let's tie this back into the educational piece that we're about to talk about. With when it comes to Project 2025, it's going to make it 100% unsafe for our LGBTQ plus youth.
Yes.
And who's to say that you're not going to have one of those psycho people who are in this household where their parents are filling them with hatred, rhetoric, and racism? Who's to say that instead of our young babies, our young LGBTQ babies who are getting bullied, commit suicide every day because they're getting bullied relentlessly? Who's to say that we won't have one of these racist, homophobic kids bring one of their parents' guns or one of the guns that their parents bought them to that school and take out LGBTQ youth? Because there is no longer any type of protection for our babies.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Because not only are you going to kill the LGBTQ kids, you killing all of them.
Absolutely.
Right. And the kids and a lot of times, and let's just put this out here as well. You as a teenager might feel that you like John and you're Steve and you like John, but you know your dad don't even play them kind of games. So now your dad is saying you got to be the man, you got to be macho and all this and all that, and you beat him up because he's a homo, he's a fag, and you should beat him up. You know, we ain't gonna have that. And then you hear that you can't be who you really truly are. So you go out there and you beat up these kids, you beat up another person.
You know, that was an SVU episode.
Yeah.
That exact scenario was an SVU episode where the dad called his younger son a wuss, but the dad ended up raping his son.
Yeah.
He ended up raping him. And the second part of that episode, the kid brought in a gun.
Yep.
And shot up the school.
Sure did. And that's what you got to think about is that, and that ties to our mental health as well. You take away so many of these different things, these different departments, you take them away because you think, let's be real, you think that it's going to hurt us and it's going to hurt brown people. People need to understand, and when I say people have to understand that we every day wake up in survival mode. We ain't ever my mama taught back then, way back when they got here, they taught survival mode. Each generation teaches us we have never not been in survival mode, guys. So we always gonna figure out a way to get through. We always make it. Think about it. When we were slaves, how did we eat? We ate the leftovers of what, and guess what we made? That shit delicious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, you had a pig ear sandwich. It was the bomb, baby. You ate pig ears and everything. Those are things that we figured out how to survive. We've always been that group of people, brown people included. Now, you have this thing where you feel like these guns and everything and education and all that, you take all those things, the opportunity for us to have mental health and all that away from us. You hurting us, yes, true, because we're now getting aware of it. But think about what you're doing to your own group of people, your own supporters. Because there are more, the thing that you got to remember is that the Republican states are the most unhealthiest, living below the poverty line, and have the most white people on SNAP, on welfare, utilizing Medicare and Medicaid.
I'm gonna say this on this platform. Let's say Project 2025 goes into effect. I'm just gonna say white folks gonna die off before black and brown people do, and I'm gonna tell you why. For one, affirmative action. We're gonna talk about affirmative action. It didn't just help black and brown people. It was mainly to help white women.
Say it again.
That's what it was for. It was to help white women. So get rid of that. White people just gonna die off. Not to mention, we black people, brown people, we are naturally a part of nature. We know how to grow. We know how to garden. Mm-hmm. We know how to hunt. We know how to fish. We know how to survive because it is built in our DNA. Mm-hmm. It is built in us. And when we come together, we won't starve. We ain't gonna get no diseases because we know how to live on the land. We understand about herbs, all that kind of other stuff. We understand about medicine, natural medicines. A lot of us was following Dr. Sebi, all other doctors and things of that nature. We are survivalists. Black people naturally, because that's where we came from. It's in our DNA. Yep. White people will need us before we need them.
You better say
it. Because black people never had to have money to survive. We already knew how to survive. We was already in the wilderness in Africa, growing our own food, mm-hmm. getting our own meat, cultivating our own crop, all of that stuff. We did that. We brought that over here and we taught people how to do that. Without Hispanics, without black people, without Native Americans in this country will die. This country will die because we're the only ones that know how to do that type of work.
Mm-hmm. And again, they really believe, and I'm not, they believe that this is the way to do it, but they fail to realize it's more detrimental to their own base than it is to us.
That's my whole thing. These motherfuckers living on my block, we all in the same fucking group. Why you supporting the fuck out this man that's gonna take away every damn all the stuff that you living off of right now?
Why are women supporting having all their rights taken away? But they
and I'm gonna
are.
tell you,
They just as brainwashed and
it doesn't affect them. It does not affect
they
them.
tired, y'all. They tired.
It
White
doesn't
women want to go back and
affect
be.
it's gonna affect
White
them.
women want to be at home. They don't. A lot of, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of them want to go back to where their husbands did everything. And I'm gonna say this: there are a lot. I would love to be able to have a wife and she stay at home and ain't got to work because I come in, I make the money and all of that. It doesn't. It's not like that today. If I want to have uh uh all the things that I want to do, I want to travel, I want to be able to have a nice home, I want to be a $300,000 home, $500,000 home. It's gonna take two people, and we're gonna have to work it together. You feel what I'm saying? And like Max said, one of us got an extra job. Somebody got a side hustle. Okay, if she can cook, baby, make them plates to make that money. Okay,
and then you're talking about the housing too. And then they put you in out. I bought houses, and they put you through so much to purchase a home that first time buyer incentive and the down payment incentive is a great thing. Just like they talk about the veterans loan. Yeah, that the thing about that is there's no down payment. That's the great thing. But the requirements right now are just I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, and then trying to have, even if it's 3%, 4% of a down payment, then your closing costs, then 3 years of tax returns. You have to be in your job, but for 4 years, and on and on and on, and then being able to maintain, that payment and the taxes that go along with it, but just initially being able to get into a mortgage. The down payment is what holds most people.
It will get harder if this gets put in place because we will not be. They will redline us to death.
Right, because there's no agencies to govern them to stop them from doing what
and you can say all day they're not gonna do it. You can always say, my mother says, he can't do that. I said, ma'am, there's a lot of stuff that we keep saying he can't do, he doing. But nobody ever been the president or run for president that's got 34 felonies.
Let's back up. What were his qualifications to become?
In the first place,
he got the top job in the United States with no requirements. When I go and apply for a job, I got to bring you all of my.
I got to tell you all my.
Check it out,
the man had done. He doesn't even have a degree.
But check it out. Last week, he stood on a stage and said that Harris was what we say she was not qualified. She did not have the qualifications to run, and that she was an idiot.
And what did he have to have the top job in the United States?
He's the only president. He's the only president who has not had any type of political job or office.
Nothing. They had to run for shit. Nothing.
Like he jumped from being a private citizen to president.
Exactly.
No law background, no military background, no education background, no political background, nothing. And was broke.
If you are in the military,
bankruptcy, and was broke.
Bankruptcy. Right, I can't get a car because of a bankruptcy, but this fool could run for president.
Not one bankruptcy, several.
Everything. Do y'all know he used to have Trump steaks?
And then he went and said he was.
You see the watch he came out with
that he wasn't really building. That he went and hired these people just to drive around on these tractors and move dirt to say that he was building. He wasn't.
Look, this man. Okay, no, y'all understand. This man got an ugly ass watch out. He got ugly ass shoes. He got
ugly ass trading cards.
Look, he got trading cards where he dancing. You know who he targeting, right? You know who he targeting with the shoes and the watch, right?
Yeah.
He trying to get us because he can identify with us because he has been discriminated in the justice system.
But he also told you that you couldn't live in none of his in any of his establishments.
But here's the catch: we have such and yes, I'm gonna say it, and people might be mad when I say it. But we got ignorant Black folks out there that, you know what they saying? I'm going to vote for Trump because he going to give me a check. Let me break something down to y'all in these fucking checks that y'all got during this stimulus. They own my tax return. I got to give it back, baby.
Well, not only that, Congress did that.
And that's the thing. Even though they did it, it was my money. Basically what they did was they gave me a loan, and now they're asking for me to pay the shit back when I filed my taxes.
This is the thing. You talking about, even if they didn't, you're talking about one check.
No,
right. That's the whole part that kills me with these people.
I did get
you got $1,200. It's not like he gave you a year's salary.
No, he did not.
He gave you $1,200 check.
It's like people that file taxes, and whether they lie or not, and they get $8,000-9,000 back, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when you see all the furniture on the side of the road, because they go and spend on all these dumb things. But you've been getting this $8,000 for 10 years. If you had only taken half of that, you'd have $40,000 put aside, but you keep doing the same thing over and over and over because you think that $8,000 is a lot of money. Yeah. What is $1,200 one check?
But
that's why you're going to put this person in office for one check. What are you going to do next month?
You know what? And I've listened to black men, and I'm going to say this. I've listened to black men say they will vote for Trump because they don't want that, because we done got too big for our britches kind of concept. That black women think we all that in bag chips, and motherfuckers, we are. We are.
Wow.
Whether we gay or straight.
I know they gonna come out the woodwork.
You are the shit. Because think about this. If it wasn't for us to have, nigga, we save your life constantly.
Let me tell you something that Shannon Sharp said when we talk about black men and supporting black women. So there was something that hit it, and I'm gonna try to I'm putting it in my words, that hit his social media in reference to him supporting Caitlin, the basketball player. Anything and everything that goes on with her, he's upset about it. If it's a foul, they fouled her too hard, or they're too hard on her, or why are they doing this to her? And he has nothing. Yes, just got drafted. He gets nothing for supporting her.
I don't like her.
But hold on, he gets nothing for supporting her, right? But he goes off on everybody on every game that she plays, right? So somebody, which probably wasn't, it was I think they thought, I don't know, was it Megan Thee Stallion? Somebody, a woman of color, that was the picture that was on the platform. All right. And it actually wasn't her, which we know, right? So this person said, into the fact of, why are you supporting, her, and blase, 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 right? So he comes back and says, don't you, you need to mind your own business, and your horse hair and such and such and such. Yeah. And really degrading black women, right? And it's like, dude, are you serious? Are you serious? So it was said on some other platforms that this is what we talk about when we talk about black men not supporting black women. Why would you even talk about her hair? Why did you even have to go there with that? Why was that,
because ain't nothing else you can say. Ain't nothing you can say.
And then so the person said because he's not happy with self being a dark-skinned black man or whatever, because we as blacks don't feel like we are beautiful or we are great, or we, as far as black men supporting, black women. Why would you even say that on a platform? You have a platform to push black women forward. You have a platform to push black people forward, but that is what you put on your social media, even though it was a fake account. That made no sense.
Let's just be clear. If it wasn't for black women, there would be no people.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
There would be no human race at all.
Not at all.
Because everybody on this earth generated from a black woman.
Right.
Don't care how y'all get it. I don't care how you feel about it.
So,
Eve was black. People, she was black.
I am uppity. Yes,
like
I am bougie.
Action. Nothing that was put in place.
I am all of that and a bag of chips. Absolutely. Why? Yeah. Because I am the blueprint and the DNA of the human motherfucking race. Absolutely. Give me my crown, bitch.
Well, they tell you that the black woman took care of the black man. She took care of her kids. She took care of the master's kids. She took care of everything. Everything.
You got to remember when Master wanted to.
I couldn't understand about that too.
When he wanted to hang somebody, there was a black woman who stopped him. Majority of the time, she tried her best to say, "No, don't do that. I'll do what you want. What you want me to do? I'll do what you want me to do. Just don't do that." So we got to understand. And people keep saying, well, that, that was a million years ago. Bitch, we still doing it.
Right.
Whether we gay or straight, we're still doing it. We still have to stand up for our Black men. And yes, I'm gonna get on this, and then we're gonna do a final thing on it. And I know Cool got something to say about it, but at the end of the day, it's necessary to have that conversation, because you must look, everyone, white women, Black women, brown women, Black men, brown men, all must look at what is in your best interest. That is the bottom line. And when a woman can say, I know what you all need to help you do better and for our country, to actually be able to say we great. We can't say again because we ain't ever been. But just to say we want to be great, we can have a future, you need to ride with that. Because her policies, her speeches, the things that she wants to do is to better us.
But they're too busy. Like on that Good Morning America, whichever station, I cannot believe that people of color sat there and let this man say that because Kamala Harris did not attend whatever convention was she was supposed to attend, that her colored sorority was more important. Said this on national television and no one said a word.
I'll put that on
colored sorority. Her colored sorority was more important. And it was alluded to again during the debate. Like, what? You let them say colored and nobody said a word.
Not one. So we're gonna go around. I want everybody to give your final thoughts. What do you want to say to us as masculine presenting women? We might have another one that's coming out, but what do you all feel needs to be said to us, to our community? What is your thoughts on what out of everything that we've said tonight? What do you want to say that masculine need to do?
I got two things. One, vote. Number two, go to realboystalk.org, RSVP for Masculine Presenting for Harris Part 2, where we will discuss more Project 2025 topics with some elected officials. Hopefully a few more than what we had on the first part. So please, please, please go to realboystalk.org, RSVP. You could be a part of the conversation, and you can see the elected officials and organizers of nonprofits have a panel discussion about this year's election, really.
All right, what you got? Cool, what you got for us?
Don't think it can't happen. That's my biggest fear. I just really want people to take it seriously. This is not just something, a 900-page document doesn't happen overnight. A detailed way of explaining how they will do the thing, when, what office, pretty much the day it's going to start. And I don't even believe they're going to wait till January. Let's just be real. Let's be real. Say 25, but the day after the election, So I really want people to take it seriously. It's a very strong possibility. It ain't no, they can't do this. No, they can't. You don't know how long these people been planning it. We have a rough estimate of 20 years. That's just a rough estimate. 20 years is a lot of time for people to get into specific areas in certain state, city, town, federal, local offices, and they're gonna make that call like we did it, and then they're gonna switch that flip the switch and do all the things, and that's how it's gonna happen. So I need people to just be more mindful, be open to the fact that okay, you may have your gripes or whatever, but at the end of the day, you gotta pick the lesser two evils. Because what he's saying, why would you want to live why would you leave it to chance and not vote? Because every not vote is a vote for him. Don't leave it to chance. Let's just go in there, tick that box, Kamala Harris, or Democrat down the ticket, and not leave it to chance. That's my whole thing. Don't that no vote and they are counting on us not to come. They are counting on us because that's a vote for them. That's one less for her, and that's a plus for them. So don't take it for granted. Just go in there. I think there's still time to mail in your vote early, things like that. So don't take it for granted. It's not that long. Maybe the day of, maybe a long process because everybody's maybe out, but there's so many other ways you could vote early, absentee vote if you think you're going to be somewhere else. But take this election very serious, and the one after. If you didn't vote for the one that we just had, vote this one and the one after, because I think that's what Google told you, like the governors and stuff should be
your local officials.
So, yeah. Officials.
So don't take this for granted.
All right, Elite, what you got?
Be educated. You know, read what's going on. Don't assume and take other people's word. Read the documents. Know what's going on so you're educated on what is actually happening. You know, so that you're aware of what's happening. You know, do the research on how much how many times one vote made a difference. It has made a huge difference. You know, I hear all the time, my vote doesn't count, my vote this, my vote that. They do what they want to do anyway. Not true. Also, your local government is so important. You know, we got Ted Cruz here with all of his shenanigans. You know what's happening on your local level as well. You know who's on that ballot and who you're voting for and what they stand for. Educate yourself. Read it yourself. You know, don't just go in there and what somebody else told you. You know what's happening, especially with this 2025. Understand that it's not just one thing that's being affected. Like you said, 900 pages. Know everything that is being affected and where it affects you in your life. You know,
that don't only include people, that includes the amendments that your state
absolutely
pass as well. We got two big ones on the ballot this election here in Florida, one about abortion and one about recreational marijuana and decriminalizing it and stuff like that. So like research and know what is on your ballots in your states as well, because they'll put things on these ballots and you may not read up on it, and then you end up shooting yourself in the foot because you thought you was supposed to vote no on Amendment 4, and my Floridians, we voting yes on 4.
Absolutely.
Okay, we voting yes.
Absolutely.
So
educate yourself.
Read up on that stuff. Educate yourself, because it's just not the president and the vice president you're voting for. Like the people
judges,
that they
you gotta know who you're voting for. Judges,
the people that they bring in,
your local government, and what exactly
come with them as well.
Exactly, and who they're
and then in 2 years is your local elections, where you pick your governors, your sheriffs, your council people,
correct,
your school board members.
Absolutely,
like that's where the change happens. That's what people need to understand. The president and all of that stuff, yes, that is highly important. They govern the whole United States. But when it comes to individual people, somebody who lives at Liberty Tree Place, like it's going to be my governor, it's going to be my state representative, it's going to be my council person, it's going to be my district representative.
And that's what I mean by your local government, which affects the school and the things that we're speaking of as well. Your local government as well. And keep in mind that this regime, if they get in, he said this will be the last time that you have to vote. That means locally as well.
Yes, he's trying to get it just to become a dictatorship, and we stuck. And he's just gonna pass it on to his children, and they dodo heads. So you know,
and now that you said that, speaking about someone not qualified, this man also put his entire family in office, and nobody was qualified to be in any of those positions.
Nobody. And so I'm gonna tell you, there's another piece of documentation. I am trying to get it, but it hasn't been leaked yet. It is called the first 180 days. it is I want to say it's the preface, you know, when you open the book, that it's the preface to because the Project 2025 is going to take some time as they rip everything apart, but they have a document that's called 180 days. First 180 days.
The 180-day playbook.
What they do the first, what they sign into law the first 180 days. Yes.
And I'm trying to get my hands on that. Everybody's really trying, you know, on our, you know, that's Democrat. We're trying to get it so that we can so we know what's happening, what their plan is. Also, if you don't know what your status is, or you want to know where you, like, what your state, you know, if you can do early voting, when it starts, when it ends, all that kind of stuff, get absentee ballots, go to vote.org. Go to vote.org. They have the information there. Or you can go to I believe your Secretary of State will have that information about voting, where it's early voting, when it is. Because I thought, and I'm gonna tell you how I thought everybody had the same date in every state. You know, on the 15th of October, everybody can go get absentee ballot. It is not. You do have to go look at, because here's catch. You got to be careful. There are some states, and I believe Alabama is one, does not have early voting.
And do not give anybody your ballot. Because what they found is there are people outside the polling places where early voting has started, and they're telling them not to drop their ballots in the box and they're outside with sacks, and they're like, just drop it in here. Do not do that. Drop it in the ballot box or mail it off.
Yep.
I would prefer you to walk in and do it. I would prefer people to walk in and do their ballots so they can verify, make sure everything is on the up and up and stuff like that. But I get it. Early voting is the best because people work. I can go on a Monday when I'm off and be done. I get it. But please be mindful. Do not give anyone your ballot. Put it in the box where it's supposed to go.
Yes. Also, as Max mentioned, mass presenting for Harris, it will be happening October 24th, 8 p.m. Again, go at RSVP. Did I say the wrong date?
I think it's the 26th. Is it the 24th or 26th?
It's the 24th.
Oh, okay.
It's the 24th. Okay. Yes, the 24th, 8 o'clock. Go RSVP so you can be a part of, like, you know, put your comments in, talk, all that kind of stuff. The other thing is, I have been talking to the NAACP, the Georgia NAACP, more than anything. But here's the catch. Most of us, and I'm going to be honest, I am one. I used to, as a very young person, I did an internship with the NAACP because my parents were in politics. But we all associate the NAACP as a bunch of old people, correct? The Lou Rawls, if you know who that is, which many people do not, but he's the
not really, because one of the Plastic Cup Boys, which is part of iHeartRadio and comedy, just got an award. I can't remember what state, from the NAACP.
So really, the NAACP knows, and it's not like when I say this, it's not everywhere, but a lot of times what they're trying to do now is really bring the youth back in. And Georgia, I'm gonna have Georgia NAACP president and the Atlanta president of the NAACP. I'm going to talk with them because we're going to talk about the day after the elections. And the reason why we're going to have that conversation is because, as you all know, we go to the polls on the voting day. We vote, woo, and we're excited. Then our person wins. And then what do? We sit back, rub our bellies for another 4 years. Woo, that was great. And then we get back in that mode. Oh my God, we got to get it together. And then you constantly keep hearing, this is the vote of your life. This is a vote will change your life. We have to stop having that moment. We got to get ready. What is it? We got to be ready so we don't have to get ready. Is that, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about, is to keep this momentum, keep asking these questions, keep, as Max and Cool and Elite have said, know who your officials are, and they need to know who you are. And I know that sounds crazy because you're like, what else? They got all these people. It don't matter. Go sit down with them. They work for you. If you vote, when you vote and you're a citizen, you pay your taxes, these people work for you. Go talk to them and find out what they're doing. Not just to get there so that they can get your vote. What do they do after? If they said they were going to pave the street Hey, it's been 3 months. I ain't seen no streets paved. What's the problem? We have to continue the momentum going. And so the NAACP and myself, we're going to have that conversation. And we're going to talk about it. And hopefully we're going to put some plans together that will also incorporate bringing our youth. And I say youth and college because they do have a program for youth and college. So we are, and this is nationwide, but we're going to have the Georgia people on. I appreciate my bros giving up the time for shooting the shit with the bros of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Again, you know the motto, guys. If you have listened to us before, if you've listened to anything that Real Boys Talk has put out or sponsored or supported, you know what I'm about to say. And I'm going to say it anyway. Take it offline. Whether you liked what we said or you didn't, and we pissed you off, or we made you smile, or we made you laugh, take it offline and have a conversation with other people. Yes, we are in a battle for our lives. What did RuPaul say? It's time to dance for your life, because baby, it's serious. If you like your masculinity, you got to vote for your interests. Who cares about you the most? Look at those, really, truly, look at these candidates. All of them. And we're going to go from state, school board, all the way up to presidency. Look at them. And if they talking about your interests, about you continuing to be masculine presenting, you have an opportunity to go to any school you want to go to, and you can walk anywhere you want to walk, live anywhere you want to live. You can afford to have a decent life. Listen to who's talking that to you. Okay? Guys, I appreciate you. We're going to say goodnight to the people. We love you, and we will be back again.